Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly at peace? Not distracted, not numb, not just getting through the day, but actually at peace. For most Americans right now, that question is hard to answer. We're living through what feels like an endless series of crises. Economic instability, cultural chaos, and political division that is actively tearing families apart. Underneath it all is a gnawing sense that something fundamental has broken in our society. The bills keep piling up, grocery costs make you wince at the checkout, and you're working harder than ever just to get further behind. It's exhausting and deeply demoralizing. There are days when it feels like the whole world is sliding into darkness, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. But here's what I've been wrestling with. How do we find joy when everything feels like it's falling apart? How do we build lives of meaning when the ground keeps shifting under our feet? The answer isn't just to grit your teeth, pretend everything is fine, or surrender to despair. There's a harder, less popular way that has been tested across thousands of years of human history, and that's exactly what I want to explore with you today. Why does adversity hit modern Americans so much harder than previous generations who settled dangerous frontiers or survived the Depression and World War II? Part of it is that we've been spoiled by prosperity and we've been conditioned to expect constant comfort and ease. But deeper down, we've been sold a poisonous lie by the culture that the ultimate purpose of life is happiness, defined as pleasure, entertainment, and the total absence of difficulty. We've been taught that suffering is always a bug in the system, rather than a built-in feature of human existence. When real hardship inevitably arrives, this entitlement leaves people entirely broken because they have no framework to find meaning in pain. We have completely confused happiness with joy, and that confusion is killing us. Happiness is circumstantial. It depends entirely on favorable conditions. Joy is dispositional. It's a deep-seated understanding that your life has meaning and purpose regardless of your immediate circumstances. Joy can seamlessly coexist with sorrow, grieving, and intense struggle because it's rooted in reality and connection to something greater than yourself. Our ancestors understood that life isn't about the pursuit of pleasure, but about the pursuit of virtue. Character is built through adversity. Strength comes from resistance, and gold is only refined by fire. When you insulate yourself from all hardship, you don't become happier. You just become weaker and more fragile. Suffering isn't good in itself, but God wastes absolutely nothing. Every trial is an opportunity to forge real patience, courage, and perseverance, virtues that can't be developed any other way. Adversity strips away comfortable illusions and forces you to decide what your life is actually built on. If your identity is rooted in sand, like your career, your bank account, or your political tribe, you'll fall apart when the ground shifts. But when your foundation is built on rock and grounded in an eternal relationship with God, circumstances lose their power over you. To practice this kind of resilience, you can't stand alone. The isolated individual pursuing personal pleasure is a recipe for despair. We need intentional community, a real church of serious believers who bear one another's burdens, and disciplined habits of daily prayer, scripture, and rest to sustain us during seasons of war. This resilience has massive cultural implications. Right now, America's foundations are being violently shaken, and too many conservatives are responding with retreat and despair. But this moment requires absolute engagement and courage. The radical left is fighting a spiritual war with intense religious fervor. They are wrong, and their cause is evil. But they're winning because too many on our side give up before the fight even starts. We need people who cannot be intimidated or demoralized. Patriots with resolve matching the generation that won World War II. When you demonstrate joy and purpose in the midst of suffering, you become a light that political power alone can never replace. I've walked through dark, difficult seasons in my own life. Times of financial strain, heartbreak over loved ones, and unanswered prayers, where the work I was doing felt completely futile. I had to make the choice whether to let hardship embitter me or refine me. Looking back, I can see clearly how God used every bit of the struggle to develop the essential qualities I desperately needed. The Christian life does not promise ease or comfort, but it guarantees the presence of God in the valley and the assurance that nothing is ever wasted. When you wake up tomorrow and face another hard day, remember that your struggle is not in vain. Your job isn't to see the full picture. Your job is to keep showing up, keep doing the next right thing, stand for truth, and keep fighting the good fight. James 1, verses 2 through 4 tells us, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." Count all of it joy, because that testing shapes your character required to face hard times, not as helpless victims, but as victors. That is a truth worth building your life around. Check us out at titdusa.com. Stand with us, support the mission, refuse the silence. I'll see you next time.